We are live from Knightstown High School in Knightstown, Indiana. Brendan King reporting alongside my broadcast partner, Jarrett Lewis. Glad to have you with us for one of the biggest rivalry games in Eastern Indiana. Eastern Hancock and Knightstown go at it, a yearly tradition. One of the biggest rivalries, as mentioned here in IHSAA. Jarrett, you were a part of it, former Eastern Hancock quarterback. Just take us through what type of rivalry this is.
Well, it's unlike any other rivalry, Brendan. You know, it's you get those nerves first game of the season, maybe a few games after that, but this game, you're really going to feel it. It's really going to hit you, and it's one of the biggest rivalries in the state, like you mentioned. Really excited to see how this game plays out.
28-14 finish last year. Eastern Hancock took the ball game. Overall, the Royals hold a 29-25 edge in 54 appearances. Again, the Royals currently possess the Plowshare and Anvil Trophy that started in 2006 when the Royals won that game 15-12. But Jarrett's two teams going in a different direction here. You have the Panthers of Knightstown. They're 3-1. They've won their past three ball games. But for the Eastern Hancock Royals, 2-2, coming off two straight losses. And it's a battle tonight between a freshman and a senior, the two quarterbacks, Houston Swan for the Royals and Jose Olvino for Knightstown. First of all, take us through the Knightstown quarterback, Olivo.
Well, Olivo, he's a really dual threat kind of quarterback. He's going to look to run first. For Eastern Hancock, you're going to want to keep him, you're going to want to contain him really, because he's going to do a lot more damage with his legs, and his numbers are looking good throwing the ball actually as well. 72 passing attempts, 50 of those he's completed for over 800 yards passing, over 200 yards a game. So Olivo is a really dangerous guy, and you're going to really want to contain him if you're Eastern Hancock.
Now on the other side, Houston Swan, he's just a freshman, making his fifth career start here at Eastern Hancock. You know him a little bit. What are his keys to that?
Well, he's going to have to take care of the ball. This whole Eastern Hancock team is going to have to take care of the ball. Too many turnovers on the offensive side, too many fumbles. For Swan, he doesn't need to make the big plays. You know, he's just going to make the simple play. They're going to look to run the ball a lot, and they're going to want to look at short passes. You know, being a freshman, his arm isn't that strong, but you know, as the game progresses, I think they'll start to pass the ball more, and he just doesn't need to make the big plays. He just needs to make the simple plays, and I think he'll be fine. Swan's
got an interesting stat line. We were talking about this before the broadcast started, is that on August 31st against Fountain Central, Swan absolutely went off. 18 for 32 for 235 yards, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But just last week against Heritage Christian, 3 for 7, 37 yards, no T's, 2 interceptions. So you mentioned the consistency factor. How big of a night is for him experiencing this rivalry for the first time?
Well, I think you want to consider the weather last week at Heritage Christian. Downpour, and they ran the ball a lot that game. You mentioned only 7 passing attempts that last week. And against Fountain Central, he really attacked, I think, a weak secondary from them, and that's what led to so many passing attempts. I think in this game, he's probably going to pass the ball a lot more than what he did last week. So we'll look to see what happens there.
The Panthers have just taken the field here at Knightstown High School. On the other side, Jose Olivo, we talked about at the top of this pregame show, is that coming off a couple pretty good games, September 1st against Union County, 19 for 26, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. But then just last week, 8 for 12, 165 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. So both these quarterbacks have had up and down weeks, but you know, this is a senior that has more experience in this rivalry. Does he get any edge because of that?
I think so, and he's been with this Knightstown team, obviously, all 4 years, and he's a great athlete. I think he's more of an athlete than he is a quarterback. You know, with his legs, he's a great runner, so we're going to see him run the ball a lot, look to extend plays, and I think he does have the edge here. I think just the experience, and obviously, even playing in this rivalry, he has great experience, and that is more important than just experience overall, I think.
As mentioned, here comes the Plowshare and Anvil Trophy. This is the trophy won between these two clubs of who will proclaim the trophy again. This rivalry is 54 games old. Eastern Hancock holds the 29-25 edge, a 28-14 win last year that you quarterbacked. Just talk about that game.
Well, it was a crazy game. Obviously, you know, senior year, it's even more important. And you're playing against guys that you know. You're playing against guys that you're 7 miles apart. And there's a lot of bragging rights in between 7 miles. So it's just a huge game, and it's in the middle of the season. It's something you look forward to. It's something everybody in the community marks their calendars for. It's just an overall huge game, big experience. I loved being a part of it. 4 years, it was amazing. And I was lucky to be part of 4 winning teams against Knightstown.
The Eastern Hancock Royals, obviously, in the white and the blue. over at Knightstown, the red and the black uniforms. And this is a cool part added to the trophy that I was researching before the game. Each year, a blue or red bolt is put into the base of the trophy with the year and score of the game. That must be pretty cool to get that blue bolt for you last year.
It is. It's absolutely cool. And there's plenty of blue bolts on there. We'll look to see what kind of blue bolt gets added this year. Not a lot of blue bolts, like you mentioned recently. There was a stretch there where Knightstown did win, I believe, 4 or 5 straight, and then Eastern Hancock has just won 5 consecutive years.
Well, that started in 2013, a 65-0 victory. That's where it all started, that stretch that you just mentioned. Knightstown at the moment getting all pumped up in the middle of the playing field right on the 50-yard line, as is the Eastern Hancock Royals, who are jumping up and down on the far side of the field to our broadcast booth. It should be a really fun one again. The Knightstown Panthers meet the Eastern Hancock Royals. Again, Eastern Hancock 2-2, 1-0 in Mid-Eastern Conference play. On the other side, Knightstown 3-1 and 3-1 in conference too. They have played all their games in conference. This is their first non-conference game, and some of those conference standings are beginning to separate a little bit, but there are also teams right there for the taking.
That's right. Tri-Eastern Conference, which Knightstown is in. Northeastern is at the top of that conference. They're undefeated so far. And Knightstown, if they want to stay above that conference, they're going to want to keep winning games after this. This isn't a non-conference game, but still one of the biggest games of the year. 12
fresh minutes on the clock here at Knightstown High School in Knightstown, Indiana, eastern side, past Indianapolis. We're glad to have you with us on Ninestar Films. My name is Brendan King, alongside my broadcast partner, Jarrett Lewis. And we're getting set to go as both teams have taken the field. Eastern Hancock, white uniforms, white pants, blue numbers on the back trimmed in black, a black helmet, white lettering on the sides. Knightstown, black jerseys, black pants, white numbers on the back, red trim, black helmets with red numbers on them. Knightstown will kick off. They are moving left to right. Eastern Hancock will move right to left. And we are set to go to receivers back for the Royals, and this rivalry game is underway for the 55th time in history. The kickoff is on, it's short, and is caught by the Royals. Making their way right side, being tackled is Jacob Johnson. And the Royals will get going at about their own 20.
That kickoff, Brendan, I tell you what, being up here in the broadcast booth, not on the field, I can still feel the chills on my arms. It's a huge game. I'm excited for it.
Very cool. Well, here comes the freshman, Houston Swan. Swan coming off a 3 for 7 game, 37 yards, but he can get it done on the road too. Overall, 29 for 56, 325 yards and 4 touchdowns in the double wing formation. They hand off up the middle, goes the Royals. They get a big break. They might be in for a first down. It's pretty close.
I'll have to correct you, Brendan. It looks like Landon O'Neill is out there taking snaps for the Royals. Houston Swan either on the sideline, nowhere in sight. But Landon O'Neill, also a freshman, is now under center.
This is the first time that Swan has not taken the field this year as the starting quarterback.
I also want to mention the Royals have come out in a new offensive formation. They're in that double wing set, like you mentioned. They're with the eye the previous 4 games, and now we're seeing a different look.
Landon O'Neill, the quarterback, as Jarrett mentioned, in the double wing. A handoff pitch left. To his left is Victor Olivo. He's brought down short of the line of scrimmage.
I think Olivo for the Royals is going to be someone that's going to have to come up big, and you see him go back to him 2 straight plays. You know, if this offense is going to get going, I think it's Olivo that it starts with.
Now, what does that double wing bring for the Royals?
Well, it's a different look. I don't know if Knightstown even prepared for this. I suppose not, but it's something that they're going to have to adapt to. And I think for Eastern, it's all about what they think is going to work best, and I think they believe it's going to be this formation.
O'Neill, hands off with the ball as Cole Rainbolt plays on both sides of the ball for the Royals. Flag is down on the play as Rainbolt hustles for a couple.
Jet sweep to Rainbow, only gets a couple yards, and looks like it's a holding call for the Royals.
So Rainbow got the handoff. There was the hold. It's on Olivo, it looks like. And the flag went down shortly after. 10-yard penalty. Illegal block in the back is the official call. And 10 yards cost the Royals here. Just underway from Knightstown High School, scoreless between the Royals and the Panthers. Ball is on the Royals 24, 2nd and 12. Landon O'Neill under center, still in the double wing. Rainbolt in motion to his right, dropping back to, handing it off is O'Neill up the middle, and he'll fight through for a couple, 3rd down.
O'Neill on the carry for a couple yards, which sets up 3rd down for the Royals.
I believe it was number 16. That was Garrett Friesian on the carry. They hand it to him up the middle, fake the jet sweep. Only a short game, brings up 3rd down now.
Friesian this year, 156 yards now in 5 games. 34th carry was right there, averaging just under 5 yards a carry. Is Friesian, the 5'9 junior, 160-pounder. 3rd and 20 for the Royals. On their own 32. O'Neill still under center. Their starting quarterback, Houston Swan, has not appeared in the ballgame. Jet sweep left with it. Rainbolt. And he's brought down. So that penalty, block in the back, ends up costing the Royals at the end of the day.
And I think with Landon O'Neill now in the game instead of Swan, they're not going to want to go to the air so very quick. You don't know how good Landon's arm is, and probably nowhere near as good as Swan's. So they're going to play it conservative. They're going to try the jet sweep, try to get Rainbolt outside, but it didn't work, and now they're looking at a punt.
Jose Olivo, the starting quarterback, is back for the Knightstown Panthers, as Jarrett was saying earlier. Quite an athlete, as the punt is up in the air, and they're just going to let it go. The Royals will pick it up. That is Garrett Friesian down the field. That should be right on the Panthers' 27 or so. So they will take over, led by senior quarterback Jose Olivo. Olivo, 50 out of 72 this year, 814 yards. That's 16 1/3 yards per reception. 7 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions this year. Olivo will set up in the shotgun to his left, 1 running back. 2 wide receivers on both sides. He'll hand off and keep it for himself. Up the middle, Olivo gets a big break. Now brought down again past midfield. Brought down by Rainbolt finally at the 35 of the Royals.
That's exactly who Jose Olivo is. He's not a quarterback first. He's going to be a runner. He's going to be an athlete. And right there made the perfect read on the option with his running back. Busted right through the middle. Huge gain for the Panthers. Huge start to their offense.
Not to mention his 53rd carry of the year. Came into this one 366 rushing yards, 7 yards per carry. He has 4 rushing touchdowns. So the senior making an impact early. Again, shotgun formation, read optional, handoff. Up the middle goes 22 Nick Walsh to his right. He is brought down by Brady Stevens.
Good tackle by Brady Stevens, shedding that block, being able to take Nick Walsh down. Walsh and Olivo are the 2 workhorses that'll be in the run game. Walsh looking at 47 carries, a little over 300 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Don't forget about Kyler Burchett, a guy that can run but can also go wide. 18 receptions as a wide receiver, 390 yards this year. So really, the 3-headed dragon is Olivo, Burchett, and also Walsh.
And it's an interesting thing to see that Knightstown only has 3 guys that have carried the ball. And you mentioned Burchett, who's leading them in receptions.
Olivo gets the snap to his left. Here comes the rush. Olivo still on his feet. Moving right, the pass is complete. Out to Kyler Burchett, who we just mentioned, down the sideline right side. He is brought down, and another big reception for the Panthers.
That's something Jose Olivo is really good at doing, is extending the play. And right there, you saw him roll out left, nothing there, comes back, sees Burchett wide open, another big gain, another 1st down.
Marching down the field is Chad Montgomery's crew. Ball is on the Royals 15. Kyler Burchett, who you see on the screen, 4 reception touchdowns this year. Can also carry the ball as mentioned. Nick Walsh to Olivo's right in the shotgun. Olivo gets the snap, hands it off to Walsh up the middle, who is brought down maybe about 5 yards into the run.
Nick Walsh on the carry.
7:19 to play in the first quarter.
That's about 2nd and 5 for the Panthers.
2nd and 5 for Knightstown. We are scoreless as this one just underway. The 55th time this rivalry has taken place. Again, as Jarrett mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it has been all Eastern Hancock over the past few years. Olivo in the shotgun. He is not joined by a running back. He's got 4 wide receivers, 3 up top, 1 to the right. Olivo waits on the snap. And he'll rush it himself in for the touchdown. Jose Olivo. That's his 5th rushing touchdown this year. And quickly, it is 6-0. Knightstown has the lead. Just a normal QB draw. And with nobody in the shotgun with them, maybe you were expecting pass, but took it up the middle.
I think that's exactly what Eastern Hancock was expecting. You spread them out, you take the defense, spread it out a whole lot, and it opens up that middle, and it's just an easy read for Olivo to take it up the middle and score.
Devin Scheitzel on for the extra point. It is up and it is good. And just to say on the whole, that was Olivo. Guy really does a little bit of everything, huh?
He does a little bit of everything, that's right.
6:41 to play, 7-0. Knightstown with the lead, so they got the punt. They did not receive the punt. They just let it fall. And a couple big runs by Olivo, including the touchdown, has the Panthers up. So Panthers will kick off. Eastern Hancock back on defense, and you think we're going to keep on seeing Landon O'Neill. Now, we were not aware that Houston Swan was not going to play that first drive, obviously.
Right, and I personally, I knew Landon O'Neill was the backup, and it's, you know, with 2 freshman quarterbacks, it's interesting for Eastern Hancock, now that Houston is out, how they would attack this. And we saw the new offensive formation that they were in, the new double tight, where they run the motion with the wings, a lot of options, just a lot of run game for Eastern Hancock. So now it'll be interesting to see also if they continue with that, if they look to pass it a little bit more also.
Devin Scheitzel again on for the kickoff. Eastern Hancock, 2 back, to receive. Right side, it's Jacob Johnson. Zach Arnold on the left. 7-0, Knightstown. Here's the kickoff, Scheitzel. Downfield, that ball will carry it at about the 15. Retrieving is Jacob Johnson. He's running up the middle looking for a block, and he is brought down at about the 29. So, Eastern Hancock back to work, down 7.
Houston Swan coming onto the field for the Royals now.
Interesting. Do you think there's any reason why O'Neill started the game?
Well, you know, you could think disciplinary action, but yeah, personally, I do know Houston, and I wouldn't think anything of it. So that'll be something we'll have to dig deeper into as the game goes on, maybe after the game.
Didn't see anything during warm-ups that would have caused an injury. And now the I formation, different look. A run up the middle for the Royals. Brought down after 5 yards or so. Victor Olivo on the carry.
Victor Olivo on the carry.
So now that Houston Swan is back on the field for Eastern Hancock, they're back into that I formation that we have seen the past 4 games, and it's really worked for them. And I got to credit this offensive line, which I believe is a better line than Knightstown's defensive line. So that'll be something to look for, how Eastern Hancock's offensive line attacks this and how this running game goes.
Olivo is the one running back. Again, he'll get the carry out the middle, brought down immediately by the Panthers. Looked like in there first was Adam Ott. Houston Swan taking a couple extra seconds here to give the play. Again, coming off a 3-for-7 game, passing for 37 yards. He threw 2 picks. But on August 31st against Fountain Central, really had his coming out party during his freshman year as a pass short to Garrett Friesen, who went out about 10 yards or so. And Houston Swan, his first pass attempt, way short, and a penalty call on the Royals.
I think it all started with that defensive line from Knightstown. They got good penetration on Houston, forced him out of the pocket, and came up with a very short throw into Friesen.
Holding the call. So it'll be 4th down for the Royals, and again, they will be forced to punt. Back to receive again, the quarterback, Jose Olivo. Towards the right side. Eastern Hancock gets the punt. It's up in the air and received by the Panthers. Royals quickly on the coverage and brought down at the 45.
Kyle Burchett on the return. We do see a flag now on the field.
A lot of early flags in this one. Only 5:12 left to go in the first quarter. But the wealth of penalties have gone to the Eastern Hancock side. And again, it is worth noting that Eastern Hancock's coach, Doug Armstrong, is not coaching tonight. So you mentioned that possibly the interim coach is Clayton Schultz, also the offensive coordinator is Michael Gallion.
That's right. Michael Gallion, the OC, and Clayton Schultz, the defensive coordinator. Not sure where Armstrong is, but hopefully everything's all right, whatever it is that's occupying his time.
So again, it's Jose Olivo and the Knightstown Panthers taking over their first drive. Couple runs up the middle for Olivo. He scored on the QB draw on the touchdown.
And that has to be one of the keys for this Eastern Hancock defense. If they're going to control this game, they have to be able to contain Olivo because he is more of a threat running the ball than he is throwing it.
Olivo in the shotgun along with running back Nick Walsh. The handoff goes to Walsh to his left, immediately brought down by Chase Settergren. Nothing going for Nick Walsh on 1st and 10.
A big junior threat on the defensive side, number 2, Chase Settergren. One of the leaders for the defense. He has 32 total tackles, 21 of those by himself.
Settergren also owns 2 sacks on the year in 4 games. 2nd and 15 for the Panthers. Set up on their own 30-yard line. They're rolling with the shotgun, seems to be the common occurrence with the read option style of the quarterback Olivo. Hikes the ball, moving to his right, looking for the pass. Here comes the rush. Olivo still on his feet. He'll deep one out in for Kyler Burchett, who can't make the play. Burchett went up with his right hand. Coverage came from Jacob Johnson.
Good defensive penetration from the Royals. Forced Olivo out of the pocket again, but you still want to contain him, and they did a good job there. Olivo got the throw off still, but just good overall defense on the Royal side.
Kyler Burchett already with a reception tonight. 7-0. Knightstown with the lead after the opening touchdown on their first drive.
And I think Burchett is the number 1 guy that we're going to see from Knightstown in the passing game. If Olivo is going to be looking to anybody, it's probably most likely going to be Burchett.
So Max Muncy is in there. 79 yards this year, 8 receptions in 4 games. To his right, it's Nick Walsh. Excuse me, that's Kyler Burchett, beg your pardon. He is brought down.
Kyler Burchett on the carry.
I believe Garrett Friesian was in on that tackle, number 16 for the Royals.
It is now 4th down.
Solid job by Friesian backing up Jacob Johnson. 4th and 10 for the Panthers. Not setting up in true punt formation at the moment, but it is 4th and 10.
All right, the punter's not very far back, only 10 yards.
Punt is off, only to about the 50-yard line, and it will escape out of bounds, far side, and the Royals will take over. So, well, strategy being played by the Panthers early, really, you know, the QB draws, the short plays, they're giving Olivo the chance to work out of the pocket. That's a lot of trust in the senior quarterback from Chad Montgomery.
And they're keeping it simple. With Olivo, it goes through him. So, you know, whether it's running, whether it's getting outside the pocket, all the plays are going to be going through him. So, you know, they want to make the best out of their offense, and they have. They've run a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of QB reads.
Houston Swan takes over at his own 48. Double wing formation again. They pitch off to Victor Olivo, who's to his right. Now running far side, 4 yards or so. And just to clarify, no relation between Victor Olivo and Jose Olivo.
No relation.
Interesting is, again, this rivalry is only separated by 7 miles, and you think with guys with the same last name you would see some kind of relation, but very interesting.
Also interesting that with that last play, Swan in that double wing formation on this 3rd possession, which in the last possession they were in the eye. So they're continuing to switch it up. Same play here.
Pitch off to Olivo. As Jarrett mentioned, same exact thing. Came around from the left and swept around to the right. And a couple more yards for Olivo. Maybe 3rd and about 3.
Eastern has ran a lot of pitch sweep plays, but not necessarily getting outside. They're looking to read some blocks where there's some linemen pulling, and they want to follow those blocks. It'll be would like to see maybe them try and get outside, especially with the athletes that they have with Olivo and Rainbow in this formation.
2:22 to play in the first quarter. Double wing. Houston Swan under center. Motion to his left. Handoff up the middle. And a flag is in. Don't think that was enough for the first down in the first place. This penalty is on the Royals. So again, a flag down on Eastern Hancock.
An illegal shift was the call also. I think they got Victor Olivo leaning.
Cole Rainbolt was the player in motion to his left. And more than likely,
Illegal motion on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
only 5 yards on the Royals. Still third down, so it'll be 3rd and 8.
I think that's the good move, is to take the penalty and push him back, because fourth down and 3, which is what the Royals could have been in. I would see Eastern Hancock going for that. So I think Knightstown wants to try and push him back a little bit more than what it's at right now, 3rd and 8.
2:10 to play in the first quarter. We've seen double wing on the first drive, I formation on the second drive. They're back to the double wing here. None of it has worked. It's 7-0 Knightstown. Olivo in motion. Back to passes. Swan avoiding the rush and brought down by Knightstown. Aiden Orchid on the sack. 4th sack of the year in 5 games for Orchid. Only a sophomore in on the rush.
And that penalty paid off for Knightstown. Orchid, a leader on this Knightstown defense, got in there, and we've seen him get in there a couple times before already in this game. Gets in there, gets the first sack.
So again, the Royals will punt. Kyler Burchett, Jose Olivo back for the Panthers. Punt is up. It'll land at about the 30. Panthers want none of it. Royals will track it down. Ball lands and finally rolls to about the 24.
A good punt for Eastern Hancock. Blaze Sarber back there doing the punting duties. A nice senior for this Royals team. It'll set up Knightstown farther back than what we've seen in the past few possessions.
7-0 Knightstown. They take over after they were forced to punt for the first time on their last drive. Jose Olivo will set back up. 5'10", 175, a senior. Olivo has scored the only touchdown of the game, a QB draw up the middle for his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. Averages 7 yards a carry whenever he wants to keep it. That was a big topic at the top of this broadcast as the whistle is blown as the snap goes off. False start on the Panthers. That'll bring them back 5 yards. 1st and 15. But again, we talked about at the top is that the athleticism of Olivo early is fooling the Royals.
Right, and they have to read both guys in the backfield. They have Olivo and they have Walsh back there. They're going to run this read option. Olivo's going to have his choice, and he's going to make the play.
Read option, handoff to Kyler Burchett. He is brought down, maybe for a loss of yards.
Right there, the Royals are ready for that. Dylan Gross in on the tackle, also Chase Sedgren. And this is where it starts for Eastern Hancock if they want to get a good offensive possession. They have to keep Knightstown back in this territory, and then once they punt, Eastern Hancock can hopefully get it in good territory.
Under a minute to go here in the first quarter. 7-0, Knightstown with the lead.
And this may be the last play that we see from Knightstown before the end of this quarter.
So Burchett was just brought down. Now it's Nick Walsh joining alongside Olivo. 3 wide receivers at the top, 1 at the bottom. Handoff goes to Walsh to his right. Again, all over them is the Eastern Hancock defense. Brady Stevens was in for that one, along with 2 others.
And that defensive line is solid for Eastern Hancock. You mentioned Brady Stevens, also Tyler Vandervliet up on that line. They had really good ability to shed that block and get to Walsh on that tackle.
Another flag and a face mask penalty on the Royals. So early on, the defensive mistakes, even offensive foul mistakes being made by the majority of Eastern Hancock.
That's what we mentioned. You can't allow something like that to happen. For Knightstown to get this first down now, they're in I believe it is a first down now. No, they're going to call it a second down. So now Knightstown's in better position to get this first down rather than being pushed back inside the 20.
30 seconds to play. The clock is ticking. Now it's 2nd and a couple for the Panthers. In the shotgun, Olivo might be the final play of the quarter. The pass is complete. Max Muncy, he's at the 30 and shoves away Eastern Hancock in for the touchdown. Max Muncy on the reception. His first touchdown of the year. It comes in a big way for the Panthers, 13-0.
A very simple read for Jose Olivo. Muncy ran the slant, beat Connor Schultz, and it was just off for the races until then.
And look at this shove coming up here on the replay. Shoving away Chase Settergren. And Knightstown beats the clock with 6 seconds left. They score in the first quarter. On for the extra point is Devin Scheitzel. Kick is up. Kick is good, 14-0. 6 seconds to play in the first quarter, and just like that, the game is quickly fallen a little bit more out of reach for the Royals. They thought it was going to be a one-possession game going into the second quarter, but quickly Jose Olivo had other thoughts.
That's Jose Olivo making plays, and that's another thing with this rivalry is when something big happens, there's a whole lot of momentum you feel for this team, and that's right now, that's what Knightstown is feeling. They're feeling a lot of momentum, a lot of good feelings. They got the crowd involved now. They got a 14-0 score going into the second quarter, and they're looking really good so far.
Max Muncy, 79 reception yards in 4 games coming into this one. Only 8 catches. That's his 9th catch of the year. First touchdown, and the average yards per catch will shoot up a little bit with that one.
And Olivo has done a good job spreading the ball around in the throwing game. You got Cooper Strasma also to mention. He has 7 catches. You mentioned Burchett, who's the leader with 18. Nick Walsh also in there. John Lukens, and then you have Max Muncy, who just made his 8th catch and his first touchdown.
Now 13 combined touchdowns this year for Jose Olivo. That's his 8th passing touchdown. And his QB draw rushing touchdown earlier was his 5th rushing TD. Devin Scheitzel will kick off again. Depending on how long Eastern Hancock is on the field for this kickoff, this may end the first quarter. As Scheitzel kickoff carries along to about the 20. Jacob Johnson has it towards the middle, grabbing a couple blocks and is brought down with about a second left on the clock. So one more play for the Royals before the end of the first quarter. Again, Johnson on the kickoff reception. 1st and 10 for the Royals at their own 33.
This is where you can't worry if you're Houston Swan in this Royals offense. You just got to make the simple plays, get first downs, move the ball down the field. You don't have to make any big plays. It's only the first quarter, soon to be the second. So nothing to be worried about so far. Houston
Swan in the double wing. Man in motion to his left, a handoff. Out to Eastern Hancock with the carry, Zach Arnold, and that will complete the first quarter from Knightstown High School. The Panthers have taken the 14-0 lead. We'll take a break here on Ninestar Films as you're watching Eastern Hancock and Knightstown. We'll be right back with the second quarter.
A working mom who brings her best to both roles. A community-owned telecom that connects her home with high-bandwidth fiber optic. Mom can work from home with fast, reliable connectivity and be there when the kids come home. When everyone logs on, the internet connections stay fast and the family stays connected. Ninestar Connect. Community-owned. Community strong.
We are back with you from Knightstown High School. 14-0 game. The Panthers lead the Eastern Hancock Royals. Brendan King alongside Jarrett Lewis. Quick first quarter for the Panthers. Couple runs by Jose Olivo and a big-time catch by Max Muncy.
A very quick quarter for Knightstown. They moved the ball well. Olivo made the right reads on most of the plays, and he extended the play with his legs, which we expected him to do, and he did that. And then a nice touchdown to finish off the first quarter to Max Muncy.
The freshman Harrison Swan under center. Swan keeps it himself to his left, far sideline, and he is pushed out after a couple yards of carry.
I think the Royals had a busted play there. Garrett Friesian acted like he was getting ready to take the ball from Swan, but Swan ended up bootlegging it out. Picked up a couple yards on the play.
Now, even though he's only a freshman, don't forget that Swan can do a little bit of what Jose Olivo does. He had himself a 235-yard passing game on August 31st against Fountain Central. And on the ground, Swan, 17 carries for about 33 yards this year. He has 1 rushing touchdown.
And he has the ability to extend the play with his legs as well. So if something gets busted or a passing play isn't there, I think Swan can use his legs and get a first down.
Ball is on the Royals 38. Handoff up the middle to Victor Olivo, who is past midfield and into Panther territory.
That is something Eastern Hancock definitely needed to see. A great run by Victor Olivo. We've seen plenty of those in the games prior, and now they're going some hurry-up tempo.
So the double wing is paying off early here in the second quarter. Now back to the I formation. Olivo again. He is knocked down by the Panthers rush.
We see Aiden Orcutt in there again, the junior on the line. Seems like a menace. He's got that long hair. He's looking good. He's got a few tackles so far.
2nd and 9. 14-0 Knightstown. Under center, Houston Swan, double wing. Olivo to his left, moving to his right. Pitch to Olivo. Right side, and he might be tackled for a loss. Looks like no gain. We'll see where they spot it. 3rd and 10. So early on, after passing past midfield thanks to Olivo's long rush, the Knightstown defense has stood strong.
And I think the Panthers were expecting a play like that with Olivo. Another pitch play. Orcutt was in there on the tackle again. Multiple Panthers were in on the tackle, so I think it's something that they were expecting.
Haven't seen a lot in the air for the Royals just yet. Their leading receiver, Zach Arnold. 5 receptions this year for 109 yards and a touchdown. There are 4 receivers on this roster with 1 touchdown. Nobody has more than 1. Swan to his right, now in the air. The pass is tipped off the fingertips of Garrett Friesian. Friesian trying for just a little cut route. Didn't work, as now there's been 2 times tonight where Swan has either overthrown or underthrown his receiver.
And they like to run that play-action play where they bring Friesian out from the backfield, or he may have been at one of the wings. He comes across the field, kind of a tear right across, just overthrows him.
4th and 10. Royals will punt. Back Olivo, also Burchett for the Panthers. Olivo will catch the ball, punt return. He'll cut to his right, shakes off a defender, shakes off another one, and is brought down on the 3rd try. So Olivo, the quarterback, will stay right on the field. 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown for Olivo so far. But a solid punt for the Royals that gets back all the way to the 15, so the Panthers start deep in their own territory.
Another solid punt from the senior Sarber, and good punt coverage on the play. We saw Dylan Gross down there for the Royals. And the Panthers are now set up 15-yard line, so good field position for the Royals.
Blaze Sarber, 6'1", 180 pounds, as Jarrett mentioned, has done a solid job on the punt game tonight. 14-0 Knightstown. They take over on their own 14. Handoff quickly up the middle to Nick Walsh. He's brought down by Stevens. Shake Stevens, actually, as it looked like the momentum was going to take Walsh all the way down, but somehow stayed on his feet.
Nick Walsh, a tough runner, takes this handoff from Olivo, and Stevens is right there to stop him for the moment, and then plenty of Royals there to clean up the rest of the action.
That is Brady Stevens. 6'4". They don't list his weight, but got to think, 250 at least,
big boy.
Meeting Nick Walsh.
A 2-way captain for the Royals is Brady Stevens also.
Shotgun formation. Olivo takes it himself and brought down, maybe close to a horse collar.
And the ref thought about throwing the flag, but he put it back in his pocket.
That was very close to a horse collar tackle. And Olivo adjusting the mouth guard. We get the replay on Ninestar Films. Very close. The flag was not thrown.
Gabe Lawler and Dylan Gross were in on Olivo. I think it was Lawler who had his arms around the neck and head area of Olivo, but they're going to keep the flag in the pocket.
3rd and 6 for the Panthers. Ball is still on their own 19. Olivo with the snap to his right, looking to pass. The rush is coming. Olivo forced far sideline and brought down. So the Royals defense stands strong on this drive. 4th down for Knightstown.
Gabe Lawler, 27, was all over Olivo, chasing him down towards the sideline. Good secondary coverage also from the Royals. Olivo didn't have anywhere to go, and now the Panthers are facing 4th down.
4th and 6.
Number 65, Ben Newby, is back to do the punting duties.
Newby has the snap. Punt is in the air. Back to receive is Rainbolt, who has it. Hustling down the left sideline and brought down. Solid tackle of Rainbolt.
Rainbolt, just a freshman, but a great athlete that Eastern Hancock has. And Jose Olivo was in on the tackle.
So you were a senior last year on this Eastern Hancock team. You've seen a lot of freshmen in this one. Just take me through the thoughts of that turnover. How do you get the young guys ready to play?
Well, I think how you get him to play is to put him into play. and
throw him right in the fire. Huh?
That's right. With Swan, I think he has great potential. So putting him in early like this. Also, Rainbow, a great athlete. Zach Arnold, also to mention, number 10. These guys are great athletes that are going to be really good in the future. So putting them in and getting them this experience is really going to help in the future.
And a penalty on the Panthers. Half the distance to the goal. And this will be unbelievable field position for the Royals, as Houston Swan will certainly take it. He is joined in the shotgun with Victor Olivo. The first time we've seen them pull out the shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers to his right, 1 at the top to his left. Now more of a bullet formation as he moved ahead of him. With the snap, Swan throw is off and complete to Connor Schultz.
We won't see Swan in the shotgun a lot. We haven't seen him in the shotgun a lot the previous games. But a simple rollout. Found Connor Schultz, a short game, but it's a good game.
Again, the shotgun. 3 wide receivers up top, 1 to the right. 2nd and 6. 7:46 to play in the second quarter. Handoff to Olivo up the middle, brought down by the defensive line of the Panthers. Looked like in there first was Sam Thomas. 6'2", 265-pound sophomore.
And 36 total tackles from Sam Thomas. Only a sophomore, that's right.
Really nothing going for Olivo. Maybe a couple, maybe 3. 3rd and 3 for the Royals. They're down 14-0. It's a 2-possession game at the moment. Handoff up the middle. Olivo again is brought down. Past 2 carries just have not worked. They might have gotten the first down.
And they're going to mark him short, maybe a yard short.
So what are they going to do? This is an Eastern Hancock team that has not successfully kicked a field goal this year. They will stay on 4th and 1. Olivo up the middle, not in. Olivo is just short.
I like it. Keep pounding it with Olivo, and they're going to hurry up tempo again.
But they do get the first down as mentioned. Swan to Olivo, who is brought down by 3 Panthers.
That's a play where I'd like to see Swan keep it. If he sees a stacked box like that from Knightstown, he's going to notice that, and he's going to notice that they're going to be coming towards the middle. And that's when he could take him himself towards the outside. So
Victor Olivo has had that one big carry back in the first quarter, but nothing going here after the Royals started in Panthers territory in this drive because of the half the distance to the goal penalty. And looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field.
And that timeout came from Doug Armstrong. I see him on the sideline now for the Royals.
So Doug Armstrong is back on the sidelines. So at the start of this game, we talked about how the head coach of the Royals, Doug Armstrong, was not coaching to start, but Jarrett just pointed out that he saw his former coach, and he is in that huddle. Clayton Schultz and Michael Gallion are the 2 coordinators, and then a wealth of assistant coaches, 8 of them to be exact. But Doug Armstrong taking over this team in his first year. Chad Montgomery on the other side, coach of the Knightstown Panthers, a 3-1 record. And again, these are 2 teams really going in opposite directions at the moment. You take a look at Eastern Hancock. They have dropped their past 2. August 31st against Fountain Central, they lost 32-21. Then really struggled against Heritage Christian last week on the 7th, 33-6. And you mentioned there were quite a few storms moving through. Is that right?
That's right. I was at that game last week, and it was just a torrential downpour, and that's where the Royals really pounded it with the running game. Not much passing going on.
Knightstown has won their past 3 games, including last week at Union City, 26-14. Man in motion to the left for the Royals. That's Zach Arnold. Swan gets the snap to his right, looking the pass now, rushing in. He's in, but he's hit hard. Or is he in? It looked like he might have gotten past, and no, they're going to mark him down at the 1. Looked like he might have snuck the hand in. We get the replay as Swan was belted by the rush of the Panthers. And just short. What a hit.
Trying to see where the flag was on that play. I think Swan took one straight to the head.
He is up, looking to the sideline for the play. 3rd and short.
A good read, though, by Swan on that last play. He had nothing to do with throwing the ball, nobody open.
Goal line play for the Royals. Handoff Olivo. Ball is on the field. Knightstown has the ball. A turnover in the red zone. What a break for the Knightstown Panthers. The handoff Olivo, and he never got it cleanly. The freshman, Houston Swan, just did not stick with it long enough.
That's been a story the whole season for this Royals team. Too many fumbles, and that's the 18th total fumble, I believe, this season. 12 of those fumbles have been lost fumbles.
It's the 4th fumble recovery for the Knightstown defense in 5 games. And they take over at their own 1. They got to get out of that end zone. Olivo will take it himself. Skips a tackle, now out of the end zone, far side, and just gets out of play. Olivo almost threatening the safety. And a 14-0 game. Eastern Hancock will just take the points. I mean, obviously you get the safety there, that's great, but you get a couple points on the board and you eliminate that goose egg.
Dylan Gross was almost there to take that safety and give 2 points to Eastern Hancock. However, Olivo is he's just an athlete, and he's going to shed tackles. He's going to beat you outside, and right there he makes something out of nothing.
Olivo did not get the first down. It's 2nd and 1. Ball is on the Panthers 11. 14-0. Knightstown leads. Lights are turning on here at Knightstown High School. Up the middle, keeping it himself. You beg your pardon, that's Nick Walsh on the carry.
Nick Walsh on the carry. Third down for the Panthers.
3rd and 1. Play is off and didn't look like they got anything at all.
I don't think they did. That interior.
Was that even a hiked play?
I think it was a direct snap to Olivo under center. He just took it QB sneak, and they got nothing out of it.
As Jarrett said, 4th and 1. Will they go for it is the question. They just had a fumble recovery in the red zone after Eastern Hancock started that drive ahead of the Panthers 30.
And I think what Knightstown is going to do is just run this clock out, take the timeout so they can think about it a little bit more.
4:50 to play here in the 2nd quarter.
But as I was mentioning, that interior of Eastern Hancock, right there in that line, they got Gabe Waller, Brady Stevens on that line, also Dylan Gross. They had a huge stop there, and I think they just full-out beat Knightstown's offensive line and prevented Olivo from getting that first down.
And Knightstown will take a timeout here on the field. It is 4th and 1. Jared said they're going to talk about it here, but this is a no-fear offense of Chad Montgomery. And we talked about at the top of the broadcast, this is the difference maybe between having a senior quarterback and a freshman quarterback is you trust Olivo in your own end zone with the threat of safety to run it and get it out, and he did despite missing a couple tackles. And then Houston Swan on the other side for the Royals really is struggling just to get constant production here.
You're absolutely going to trust Olivo, the senior who's had plenty of experience. You're going to count on him to make the plays on his own. And, on the side with Swan, he's got to have a supporting cast. He has to have guys like Rainbow, guys like Schultz, guys like Friesian and Johnson back there in the backfield, also Victor Olivo. Those are the guys all together. They're going to have to get something going with this offense.
14-0. 4:44 the play here in the 2nd quarter. They will punt. Royals back to receive at about his own 45. It is Rainbolt. We'll let that one drop. It'll roll. Stop at the 43 of the Knightstown Panthers. 4:34 left to play in the first half. A 14-0 game. We appreciate you joining us on Ninestar Films. My name is Brendan King, alongside Jarrett Lewis, former Eastern Hancock quarterback who experienced this rivalry for quite a while. This is the 55th time these two teams have met up in program history. The Eastern Hancock Royals lead this rivalry 29-25. Last year, 28-14 win. So again, the Royals with an opportunity. They just fumbled at their own 1. Houston Swan, hands off up the middle. Jacob Johnson takes it a couple, maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Nice tackle by the Knightstown defense, preventing any yards gained from Johnson, who's now in the backfield over Olivo.
Well, after the fumble, you're looking for some consistency. And really, we haven't seen a consistency factor in how they're setting up. We've seen shotgun, double wing, I formation. This hasn't been that natural progression. It's a screen pass complete to Rainbow. To his left, he'll get about 4 yards before being brought down by Knightstown out of bounds. 3rd and 6.
A good play. I like the play from Eastern Hancock. Getting the ball out to one of your athletes, Cole Rainbow, who's a freshman. Gets outside. A good gain.
I'll tell you what, Rainbow is absolutely fearless. Experiencing this first rivalry game as a freshman. He's been kind of one of the more inclined guys here. He's returned punts. He has played defense. He's out there catching passes. He's had a couple jet sweeps. As back to passes, Swan now jumping in front in the pocket. Throw off to Rainbow, who makes the catch.
Good job of Swan staying in that pocket, stepping up in the pocket as the pressure came to him in the backside. Rainbow ran a nice route. I believe it was a wheel route. Beat his guy. A good throw down the sideline from Swan, and now they're in business with this first down inside the 30.
Rainbow only had 7 receptions in his first 4 games, but has 2 quick ones here. There's 3:24 left to play in the second quarter. Rainbow in motion. Fakes the jet sweep and a handoff to Johnson up the middle. Now ranging to his left, brought down by a couple Panthers. Second and about 6.
Good play design from the Royals. They had the fake, the jet sweep, give to Johnson. Johnson made a good cut to miss a few guys who were near the line of scrimmage, and he did the best he could to gain 4 yards.
Under 3 minutes in the first half. 14-0 Knightstown. A rushing TD and a passing TD for Jose Olivo. Swan airs it out right side, diving for it, but not coming up with it is Connor Schultz. He's been targeted a couple times.
Connor Schultz is one of the leading receivers for this Eastern Hancock team. He's coming in with 6 receptions. Rainbow on the other side has 7 receptions. Schultz with 1 touchdown out of the 4 passing that Swan has had so far this year.
See how they respond for a 3rd and 7. Again, this is a team that has not attempted a field goal all season. So really nothing is field goal range at the moment. Pass right side, looking for Schultz, intercepted by Knightstown. James Lukens brought out of play at about the 45. Swan throws the interception, his 7th of the year. 14-0 Knightstown, and for the second straight time with the ball ahead of the Panthers 30. A turnover.
And Swan just made the wrong read. He threw it into a clutter of Knightstown Panthers. 3 were there near the guy that he was throwing to. Just something he's got to look out for. He's got to see how the defense is covering that side of the field, which that's going to come. He's only a freshman, so as you know, as years come by, he's going to be a lot better at that.
Lukens, first interception this year in 5 games. Back taking over Olivo. He'll take it himself after a fake handoff to Walsh, and he's brought down quickly for a loss at about 5. So Olivo, although he has broken through for a couple really nice sprints, the Eastern Hancock defense has done a nice job progressing along here. It seems like the past couple of drives, not as much ability for Knightstown to get downfield.
That's exactly right. Beginning of the game, we saw Olivo kind of do a little bit of what he wanted. He had that long run, then he had the touchdown run, and now with that read option, the Royals were there. They were prepared for it. I saw Brady Stevens in on the tackle. That's just one of the keys of the game for this Eastern Hancock defense is they have to contain Olivo.
Olivo sets up by himself in the shotgun. 4 receivers up top, 1 to the left. Has the snap, looking back, looking left. Here comes the rush, moving to his left near the near sideline, and he'll just throw it away. Intentional grounding possibly could be the call as the flag comes down.
Yeah, the head official threw the flag for intentional grounding, but the one near the sideline had it pointed out which receiver Olivo was targeting.
An eligible receiver. Nonetheless, 3rd and 12. Again, the Royals defense comes up with a big play.
And late in this quarter, this half, we're looking at 143 now for Eastern Hancock. They need to stop if they want to get this ball back and look at any chance of putting some points on the board.
4 receivers up top, 1 to the left. Olivo takes it himself up the middle and brought down after a couple. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Jose Olivo makes it back to the line of scrimmage. That's 4th down for the Panthers.
Minute 30 left to play here in the first half.
And Brendan, I'm wondering why Eastern Hancock isn't calling a timeout. I don't know if they're looking at stopping the clock to get this ball back and to have enough time to get down and score.
Well, you start in Panther territory the past 2 drives and 2 turnovers. Maybe it's you want to talk about this and just regroup after a couple tough possessions. 1 fumble in the red zone and then that interception a moment ago by James Lukens. And 55 to play. And Knightstown. And Eastern Hancock will now take the timeout with 50 seconds.
Well, the head ref called out an Eastern Hancock timeout, but he pointed towards the Knightstown side of the field. So I assume it was a Knightstown timeout.
Either way. There we go. Second timeout for the Panthers. A 14-0 game, but the tides have shifted a little bit defensively. Maybe not offensively for the Royals. Houston Swan, the interception, the fumble by Victor Olivo, but we talked about it much through this second quarter is that the Royals defense has come up big and has really quieted down Jose Olivo.
Right, that first quarter was all Knightstown. They controlled the ball on both sides. And now the second quarter, we're looking at Eastern Hancock. They stepped up their defense. They prevented Olivo from making any big plays. And now they're looking at Knightstown punting it away with 50 seconds now in the second quarter.
One of the spark plugs for the Royals, Cole Rainbolt, back to receive the punt. Ben Newby, the punter for the Panthers. 50 seconds to play, so not a lot of time here for Eastern Hancock. As the punt is off, way short of Rainbolt. This is going to fall maybe about 20 yards in front of him. And they're going to let the Panthers pick up this one at about the 28 of the Royals. So not great field position at all. You only have 38 seconds. Do you just pack in the half and go talk about it?
Either that, you take a knee, or you try some little trickery just to see what could possibly happen, to see if you can get down the field, get in position to maybe run another short trick play, or just make a throw down the field.
1st and 10, the Royals take over. Houston Swan just threw the pick, his 7th interception this year. But again, a guy that can really throw the ball. August 31st, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns against Fountain Central, just a freshman. In the double wing. Ranging to his left, Rainbolt, and a flag immediately after the snap. Could be a false start.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
Indeed, a false start, 5 yards. And that kind of takes the momentum away, if any. 37 seconds to play. It'll be 1st and 15.
I think for the Royals, like we said earlier, they're going to have to show some signs of life before the end of this half, just so they can go into halftime with a little bit of positivity and come back out in the second half and hopefully perform a little bit better.
They go back to the double wing. That's how they started their opening drive. Rainbolt in motion. Keeping it Swan, dodging a couple and brought down at the ankles. Clock will continue to tick.
And no hurry from Eastern Hancock. I think they're just going to let this run down.
So Swan loses a couple. That's unfortunate, as that play kind of just fell apart. And Swan will get credit for the negation in the rushing yards. And the clock will tick down. 10 to play here in the first half. And despite a tough second quarter offensively, the Knightstown Panthers remain with the shutout after 1 half of play.
14-0. They're looking really good now going into the second half. They have to be happy with their performance. They got a lot of momentum. They got this crowd behind them, this crowd that have been looking for a rivalry win for a long time coming, and they got good feels of it coming back now with this 14-0 lead going into the second half.
It is 14-0. We will send it to halftime as the Knightstown Panthers and the Eastern Hancock Royals will be right back on Ninestar Films with the second half.
Carnegie's A Place to Eat is the place for exceptional dining in Greenfield. Enjoy our hand-cut steaks, fresh seafood, herbs and vegetables straight from our gardens, prepared with a northern Italian flair. Chef Ian and his staff welcome you as our guests to enjoy fine wines, dinners, and ambiance. Carnegie's is the place for your special event with a private room that seats 100. Perfect for your next party, business meeting, or wedding reception. We are located in the historic Carnegie Library in downtown Greenfield. We'll see you at Carnegie's.
We welcome you back to Knightstown High School in Knightstown, Indiana. Brendan King alongside Jarrett Lewis getting you set for the second half between the Knightstown Panthers and the Eastern Hancock Royals. A 14-0 game. Early on, it was all Jose Olivo, who had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown in the first half. He looked really good in the first quarter especially.
He did look really good. He allowed himself to make the plays that he can make, and he's just an athlete. He's an athlete before a quarterback. We see him break this tackle on this replay, a huge long run on the first possession, a good momentum builder for this Knightstown team who scored on that first possession from another Olivo run. He took over in the first quarter. The second quarter, the Eastern Hancock defense kind of stepped it up, and it was more of an even game. And now we're ready for the second half.
Max Muncy was the catching touchdown. Muncy's first touchdown this year. On the replay, you see the rushing touchdown for Olivo. Shortly after he had that touchdown pass to Muncy, just a simple slant route right side. Muncy made the catch. It was just a long breakaway where nobody could catch him.
A simple slant, just like you said it. Muncy beat his man, Connor Schultz, number 21, and then it was just off to the races from there. Almost was brought down by Schultz, but stays on his feet, puts a nice stiff arm to Chase Sedgren of the Royals, and then puts it in the end zone.
Rainbolt almost pushed him in there, but again, a 14-0 game. But it is worth noting that in the second quarter, the Eastern Hancock defense really stepped up, Jarrett.
Yeah, and maybe the first quarter was just some jitters, or they weren't prepared for how dynamic Olivo and Walsh kind of are for the Knightstown offense. In the second half, they did step it up. Not a lot of runs of positive yards from Olivo or Walsh, and that's something they have to build on in the second half. Their defense has to step up in order for their offense to get it into gear and to make this game a lot closer.
Both teams taking the field here to start the second half. On the other side of things, Houston Swan didn't have the half he wanted. Obviously, he threw the pick. There was the fumble in the red zone. The pick was from James Lukens of the Panthers defense. What does Swan have to do now to settle down and really dig in? It's only a two-possession game.
Well, I think, it's his first rivalry game, his first Eastern Hancock Knightstown experience. He got the first half out of the way. Now you just go out and play. You get the jitters out of the way. You get the overthinking maybe out of the way. You start to open up the playbook, hopefully, a little bit more for him now. And you just let him make the simple plays. He doesn't have to, just totally take over. He's a freshman. He needs just to have this experience for the coming years and just – not try and do too much. He has a great supporting cast with Olivo in the backfield, also Jacob Johnson, and some young wideouts that he can toss the ball to as well.
Speaking of those young wideouts, Rainbolt looked really good.
Rainbolt did look really good. They tried to give him some jet sweeps a couple times. He got some good yardage on that. We saw him return punts. We saw him take a few hits. He's a tough kid, a tough freshman. Hopefully they can get him more involved in this second half, and hopefully they can shift this momentum now over to Eastern Hancock side.
Now, just to talk about this rivalry again, this is the 55th time these two programs have met. Eastern Hancock holds a 29-25 advantage, 28-14 win last year. Yourself quarterbacking the Eastern Hancock Royals, and just talk about that game and what it was like to, again, take the Plowshare and Anvil Trophy.
Well, last year, just senior year, it's a lot bigger than what it really is, and it's a huge game. It's one of the biggest rivalries arguably in the state. You got this trophy you're playing for. You got the 7 miles to play between for. All these kids know each other, and there's going to be bragging rights. So you got to step up. You got to come prepared. You got to be ready to play. And so far, Knightstown is showing that they've been ready to play, and they're going to be looking to put a red bowl into this trophy for the first time in 5 years.
That's really cool how either a red or blue bolt is put into the base of the trophy with the year and score of the game. Before the game started, when both teams were greeted at midfield, both teams came out, the entire squads, the trophy was put at midfield. Everybody kind of got to see what they're playing for. Does that add any kind of special inspiration when you actually see the trophy?
It does, and for Knightstown, it's a whole lot more inspiration because they see that trophy and they think, man, that hasn't been in our trophy case, that hasn't been in our school for a while now, and that's something that we got to think about. We really want to win this game, and we want to take back that trophy. That trophy means a whole lot, and it's something that it's just bragging rights. It's bragging rights. You can talk about it for the rest of your life, and Knightstown is looking to put another red bolt into that thing.
Again, the Knightstown Panthers coming off 3 straight wins. They lost their opening game against Hagerstown. That was at home here at Knightstown High School, 21-13, but then they respond with a 20-14 win at Winchester Community. One at Union County and Liberty, Indiana, 34-28. Then last week beating Union City, 26-14. On the flip side of the coin, Eastern Hancock has dropped their past 2 games. Fountain Central, again, their quarterback, Houston Swan, threw for 235 yards in that game, 3 touchdowns, but they still ended up losing the game, 32-21 the final. And then last week we talked about in the first half, 33-6, and just a rain kind of downpour type of game.
Right, in that Heritage Christian game, it was just run, protect the ball, not trying to throw it with some slippery hands. And then the Fountain Central game, I believe Eastern Hancock really just wanted to attack the secondary that Fountain Central had. And Fountain Central was a good team. At that time, they were ranked in the top 5 in 1A, and Eastern Hancock made it a really good game. They played well. Just late in the game, couldn't come back to secure a victory and secure an upset. And then on the other side, you have Knightstown, who is 3-1. They're looking good in Chad Montgomery's debut as the head coach for Knightstown, and they're still looking good for in their conference, in the Tri-Eastern Conference. They're tied for second behind Northeastern, who's 4-0. Knightstown, all of their games so far have been conference games, and so they're looking to stay alive in that conference.
12 fresh minutes on the clock here to start the third quarter. The score is 14-0. Knightstown leads. They will get the ball first. Back to receive the kick. The quarterback, Jose Olivo, and Kyler Burchett. Actually, 3 Panthers back. Also joining them is Cooper Strasma. So 3 are back to receive the kick of Eastern Hancock, who had their chances in the first half. A fumble in the red zone and then an interception by Houston Swan, picked off by Knightstown's James Lukens. Kicking off, Blaze Sarber. Kick is off and caught by Jose Olivo. He can do it all as he's running towards the middle with a break of speed, and he spins around, right side still on his feet. Chasing him is Rainbolt. Rainbolt pulling him, and he's brought down close to midfield. Just that speed breaking away for Olivo.
Olivo took it right in the middle of the field, and he busted right to the middle where all the action was. Got out of it, broke a few tackles. We saw him carry Rainbow with him, and he's all the way across the 50-yard line now.
It's kind of like a pitcher getting a hit in baseball, helping himself.
That's right.
Olivo getting the good field position for the Panthers of Knightstown. They start on the Royals, 47. 1st and 10, Olivo sets up in the shotgun. Joining him alongside to his left is Nick Walsh. 3 wide receivers near side, 1 up top. As the ball is snapped, handoff to Walsh on a running back draw, and he'll lose a couple. Back to midfield, maybe back in their own territory. That ball might be spotted on the 49.
And the Panthers started out with a counter play with Walsh. Pulled the lineman, Knightstown did, and just good defensive front there that got to the ball. We saw Tyler Vandervliet getting to the ball there, and it's a loss of yards. Looks like a loss of 3, maybe 4.
2nd and 13. Ball is on the 50. So they started in the Royals territory. Back to midfield. So Jose Olivo returned the kick, maybe from his own 20, all the way to the 47. Olivo in the shotgun now, along with Kyler Burchett. Man in motion. It's Burchett on the handoff on the jet sweep. To his right, he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, picking up a couple yards. Still about 10 yards to go on 3rd down.
The Panthers run the jet sweep with Burchett. He gets outside, a nice gain. It'll set him up with looks like a 3rd and 9 now. Probably see Olivo go to the air here. Maybe try to make another play with his legs. We've seen him do it a lot. Lots of extended plays so far from Olivo we saw in the first half, just continuing to play with his legs, not trying to go down.
And on the sideline here, not an injury problem it looks like, but Nick Walsh, I think, either needed a new cleat or something along those lines. He just had an addition to the cleat put on his right shoe by one of the equipment managers, trainer. As Olivo takes the snap, it's a little pinch play to Burchett, who is through for about 5 yards, but still short of the 1st down.
You can see that play right from the beginning. Olivo wasn't anxious to do anything else but look for Burchett in the middle of the field so he can pitch it to him. A nice gain. Now it's a 4th and 2. Probably see him go for it.
Almost like we're used to do that as Tony Romo.
That's right.
Well, Cowboys. Just a pitch in front of him. Burchett took it 5 yards. 4th and 2. And Olivo is back on the field. This is prime range to go for it on 4th down. You're in the Royals territory. Down 2 yards, Olivo gets a snap to his left. Sprinting towards the sideline, tried for the sweep. He's going to get the first down and more. To the left, down the near sideline, he is brought down. Olivo has the first down. And the offensive Knightstown has returned. They lead 14-0 after being shut down, like we said. Towards the end of the second quarter, the Royals defense did a great job, but Olivo that time on the sweep to his left, picking up the first down and more.
A well-designed play for Olivo. Just get him the ball, let him get out in space, put some blockers out in front of him, and looks like some secondary players of Eastern Hancock kind of took the wrong hole, and now that allowed Olivo to get outside and get to that sideline, and now he's got the first down. Knightstown's looking good at the 25. And
worth mentioning, Kyler Burchett is on the near sideline sitting on the table. Don't know if that's an injury issue or not. As a handoff up the middle on 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And just to note, Kyler Burchett has gotten up. He is walking on the sideline. So again, that could have been another equipment issue. That's bad luck. First, you have an equipment issue with Nick Walsh, then Kyler Burchett. So you haven't been able to have them on the field together here since getting the first down. It's now 2nd and 4 after Walsh ran up the middle. Ball is on the Royals 19 for 2nd down.
That's something good for Knightstown, though. If you have Walsh or Burchett coming off the field, you have another one to go to. And right now, Burchett's on the sideline. Walsh is in the backfield.
In the shotgun, getting the snap, Olivo. Running up the middle, he gets a block, but is tracked down by Eastern Hancock. Garrett Friesian on the tackle. And if Friesian did not get Olivo, he is home free towards the end zone.
That's right. Friesian, one of the leading tacklers for Eastern Hancock. Great job bringing Olivo down, like you said. If he doesn't, Olivo's in for 6.
Friesian does lead this team in tackles. Averages 10 a game. Plays on both sides of the ball. It is 1st and 10 for Knightstown. They are threatening. They lead by 2 possessions already. 14-0. Nick Walsh to the right of Olivo. 2 wide receivers, both at the bottom and the top. Burchett in motion. The sweep handoff to Burchett, now ranging towards the middle. And it will be brought down after a couple. So Burchett back on the field along with Walsh. That is something we have not seen on this drive just yet after Walsh had an equipment issue, and then it looked like Burchett did too. If not, maybe it was just a cramp. If anything, had to deal with an injury.
Knightstown has something good going right now with Olivo. They got Burchett and Walsh. They're mixing it up between all 3 of them. We've seen Burchett with the sweep. We've seen Walsh up the middle. Olivo still reading whether he can keep it or not. And I bet that's what they continue to go to, is just the running attack of Olivo and Walsh and even Burchett from the slot.
Eastern Hancock needs to stop here. 2nd and 10. Olivo with the snap. Here comes the rush. Missing the sack is Settergren. Now Olivo sprinting towards the middle, trying to avoid defenders. And they get him. He might get back to the original line of scrimmage, if anything. You get the replay here at Ninestar Film. Settergren was sprinting in. Olivo missed it and maybe ran into his own offensive lineman.
I was going to mention that. Looks like 79 is who he ran into. That's Walker Gorman on the line.
3rd and 11, so he did lose a yard. Ball is on the Royals 20.
This is going to have to be a play that Knightstown knows they can get some good chunk yardage from, because they want this first down and they want another score. That way they can put this game even more out of a reach for Eastern.
3 wide receivers up top, 1 on the left side. Otivo with the snap, looking for room. Here come 3 Royals. They're still chasing him down. They're not tackling him for whatever reason. The throw is off and caught. Did Nick Walsh bring that one in before he stepped out of bounds?
I'm not sure, but we do have a flag on the play, and even if he did catch it, nowhere near the first down.
Did you notice the same thing I did, is that the Royals defenders kind of just stopped in their tracks when they were going for the sack? They didn't reach out to try and...
Well, I think they're afraid if they do reach out, Olivo's going to get around them. But, with 3 guys there, I think they should be able to make that sack.
They just tried to jump up on him, and then one finally came in to push him from behind. But you're right in the fact that he can juke him out. But, when you got a 3-on-1 advantage, you got to think that you might be able to go get him. It's going to be an ineligible receiver penalty. Penalty decline, 4th down.
And that's something Eastern Hancock is like. They like seeing that. 4th and 11 now. Looks like they're going to bring the kicker out.
Devin Scheitzel has 2 extra points tonight. Scheitzel is now 11 out of 13 in the extra points. This is his first attempted field goal this season. Ball is on the 15. Kick is up. Kick is no good. So Scheitzel, his first attempted field goal, about 30-ish yards And it is no good, so it's still a 2-possession game. We talked about how the Royals needed a stop, a full stop, not just a third or fourth down. They get it, and their offense back to the field. Houston Swan. Let's see what we can do.
Well, he's going to have to just, like we said, make the simple plays. And you're down deep in this territory. You're at the 20-yard line. You got a long ways to go, so it's going to have to be just play after play after play, get good chunk yardage.
Swan has 1 interception, no touchdowns, double wing formation. They send a man in motion, the handoff on his way to Arnold. He's sweeping right side and is brought down ferociously.
We've seen a lot of those sweep plays from the Royals where Swan is under center and he's gave carries to Arnold and Rainbow, both freshmen, and they haven't got much out of it. We saw a run earlier from Rainbow where he got maybe 5 or 6 yards, but so far Knightstown has done a good job of not letting those fast, young guys take those jet sweeps, get outside of them, and get good yardage.
14-0 Knightstown, 2nd and 9, ball on the Royals' own 22. Third quarter. Another double wing setup. Arnold to his left. Handoff is up the middle. And Knightstown take care of it.
He gave it to Friesian up the middle, had the jet sweep going, and then Swan took a kind of a reverse turn, gave it to the Friesian, and they had a guard pulling, I think, from Eastern Hancock. I believe it was Tyler Vandervliet, number 60, from the left guard position. He pulled on the play, but again, not a lot of yards there, maybe 1 for Eastern Hancock, and Knightstown's doing a good job preventing Eastern from getting, like we said, the chunk yardage that they need.
Are you kind of forced to pass here?
It is early. I mean, it's early in the second half. You could go either way, honestly, I feel like. You have plenty of time left. Just run a play that you know is going to work, and here they go with Olivo.
Olivo gets the handoff, as Jarrett mentioned. His first carry of the second half. Earlier on, Olivo had that fumble in the red zone. Literally, the ball was at the 1. Very unfortunate, as Olivo had that breakaway run, and then, unfortunately, you go for the fumble then at the 1. Kind of a momentum killer.
And that's what those things are going to do to you. It's unfortunate of the fumble, and now you're looking at a 14-0 game still instead of 14-6, 14-7 maybe.
4th and 1, big play for the Royals. Arnold in motion to his left, run up the middle, it's Friesian. Friesian dodges a couple and skips along for the first down. So Friesian, the leading tackler, also can run a little bit.
Yeah, he's 3rd for the Royals in rushing attempts, coming in with 33 a game. He does have 2 touchdowns, over 150 yards rushing, and now we see a good gain on that first down.
Much needed. Still in their own territory. Ball on the 35. Olivo, the defensive back. As to his left is Arnold, skips a couple, dodges one, and is tackled. If Arnold skips past that last one, he might have nobody in front of him. He's really ferocious, kind of really, you look at the replay here, he's able to build up that speed, then dodge a couple even going full force.
And that's Olivo that he's shaking. We got, the freshman, like we talked about, Arnold, short, small, young, but super fast. And if you get him out in space, allow him to make some moves, he's going to.
No passes on this possession so far. The flip over to Olivo, up the middle, first down and more, into the Knightstown territory. And the pot is steaming a little bit for the Royals.
And we saw that play early on in the first half. Another pitch play to Olivo. Swan ends up turning around to lead block. A huge gain for the Royals, and now they're into Knightstown territory.
Ball on the Panthers 48, 1st and 10. Swan will give the play. They break the huddle. Knightstown waits for them in their black uniforms, black helmets with red numbers on them. Eastern Hancock, white uniforms, blue numbers on the back, black helmets. Arnold to his left. The handoff goes to Arnold, and he gets about 5 yards.
Another shoestring tackle. Knightstown's lucky that they can bring Arnold down like that, or else he's going to use his speed and get out there into the open territory. A good gain for the Royals, looking at 2nd and 6 now.
Arnold really uses the starting in motion to his advantage. He builds up a lot of speed in a short period of time. 2nd and 6. 2:35 left to play in the third quarter. 14-0 Knightstown. Royals are in Knightstown territory. Handoff up the middle. Friesian skips along for a few more. Excuse me, that's Jacob Johnson. Johnson had a few carries in that first half. He returned a couple kicks.
Jacob Johnson, the sophomore, coming in 45 carries, just over 220 yards. So he is the second leading rusher behind Olivo. A nice design play, kind of some trickeration, again, pulling some of the linemen Eastern Hancock did, and now 3rd and 3.
Another big play. Pass rushers coming. Run up the middle. Friesian, first down.
This is hard-nosed football now that Eastern Hancock's playing. They want their offensive line to be the focus. They want this offensive line to blow Knightstown off the ball, who we should probably mention that there's a lot of guys for Knightstown that are going both ways, so you got to be thinking some of these guys might be gassed. You want to take advantage of that.
Well, look at who's up top. Free safety.
Yeah, that's right.
Jose Olivo, their quarterback.
A lot of familiar guys out there on the defense that play offense for Knightstown.
Swan with the ball, a pitch out. Johnson up the middle. Johnson skips a couple. Johnson barrels ahead. Gets a couple. Minute 30 left to play in the 3rd quarter, and Eastern Hancock continues to push it right through the wall of Knightstown. They are relentless with that run.
And we mentioned earlier, we thought Eastern Hancock had the advantage at the line of scrimmage. And with this offensive line right now, they are blowing, sort of blowing Knightstown off the ball. You know, they're getting good amounts of yards. We're looking at 4 and 5 yards and plenty of first downs.
4 passing touchdowns for Swan. 5 rushing touchdowns for the running backs of Eastern Hancock this time. Zach Arnold doesn't have as much luck. Gets a couple as the clock ticks down in the final minute of the 3rd quarter.
And you can only run that play so much. We've seen it a lot so far in this drive, and Arnold has gotten 3, maybe 4 carries now, and that's the first time that Knightstown has really stopped him for no gain. We'll see what Eastern Hancock comes out with now. They're at a 3rd and 8 at the 29 of Knightstown.
30 seconds to play. Again, this is a team that has not attempted a field goal once this year. Man in motion in the right. Run up the middle. It's Friesian, and he gets nothing out of the run. Again, still no passes on this drive. The clock continues to tick, 10 seconds. And it looks like the Royals are going to let it run. We will go to the 4th quarter. It is 14-0 Knightstown, and just after that rush of momentum, the Knightstown defense continues to shut down the Royals. 14-0. We head to the 4th quarter. We'll be right back on Ninestar Films.
Bottom line is these fish are worth money.
Right here.
Big weather, big fish. It's tough to even stand out here.
This is my turf. I don't want these northern boats coming down and giving us a run for our money.
This is what we wanted, baby.
We can't let them boys beat us in our backyard.
Wicked Tuna Outer Banks. New episodes Sundays at 9 on National Geographic.
Back with you for the 4th quarter. From Knightstown High School, Brennan King alongside Jarrett Lewis. 14-0. And it has all been started because of the quarterback, Jose Olivo. He has done it once on the ground by himself with the feet. Rushing touchdown in for the QB draw, then a beautiful pass to Max Muncie for the 2nd touchdown.
Yeah, it was all Olivo in the 1st quarter. Most of the first half was just Olivo. We saw him make plays with his legs, made the pass to make the score 14-0.
4th and 7, they're going for a big play. Swan complete to Johnson. Johnson dodges a couple. Flag on the play. Did he get the first down is the question. We will also see what the penalty is. And it was a 4th down play to start the 4th quarter.
I think he did get the first down, but the penalty looks like it's Eastern Hancock, and it is.
Still waiting on the referee's call.
Might be a block in the back. They might have gotten Brady Stevens of Eastern Hancock.
The Knightstown coaching staff is on the field along with the referees. I think they want a clarification just as much as the Royals do, as the Knightstown defense is still hanging out right at their own 20. The Royals offense chatting about things at the 40-yard line. Here's the ref's call. Good call by you, block in the back, and a turnover. First down for the Knightstown Panthers. They lead 14-0 and a chance to start to put this game away.
So I guess Eastern Hancock did not get the first down, so it was just an easy decision for Knightstown to decline the penalty, take the ball now.
Jose Olivo, he's been a busy man, plays on both sides of the ball. Safety and a quarterback. Knightstown doesn't know what the play is.
Looks like they're missing a lineman maybe.
Yep. Coming in late is another offensive lineman.
That's the senior Walker Gorman. Jose Olivo is all by himself in the backfield. Everybody split out.
Here's a little pitch play up the middle to Walsh, cutting across to the right, dodging a couple. Now towards the middle. Walsh is brought down at the 50 by Friesian. What a burst of momentum from Nick Walsh.
Another little pitch play from Olivo to Walsh. We saw it work in the last quarter. Made it work now, and now they're at the 50-yard line. Huge gain for the Panthers.
Right back to the 50, 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And after a period of time where Jose Olivo struggled to get anything going, and the Royals were shutting them down defensively, possibly fatigue is setting in. We've talked about how so much you see guys playing on both sides of the ball.
And not just Knightstown, both teams. Eastern Hancock has guys going both ways. So, you know, fourth quarter now, you're going to look at some gassed athletes.
Olivo going deep. Throw is out. Tracking Muncie. Muncie is out of bounds already. So Muncie tried to go up for it, and it looks like he may be cramping a little bit. So Muncie tried to go air it out. He caught the touchdown pass earlier. Olivo looking at him all the way. The coverage was fine for Eastern Hancock, but again, Muncie had already backpedaled out of bounds.
The coverage was fine, and if Olivo makes a better throw to where Muncie can go up and get it, he has the height advantage on Schultz here on our near side. That could be another big gain if he keeps that ball in bounds for Muncie to go up and get it.
Chad Montgomery just tried to end it there. 2nd and 10, 14-0 Knightstown. Ball on the 50. Shotgun. Here's Olivo. A handoff to Walsh. Right side, he's sweeping. Trying to get out of bounds, and he's tackled. Still in bounds. Clock will tick.
Knightstown running a play to the short side of the field with Walsh. Walsh makes a good gain. Now a reasonable 3rd down to where they can throw it, they can pass, or excuse me, they can throw it, they can run it, and we'll probably look to see Olivo maybe take it himself.
3rd and about 4. Cole Rainbolt is back as the lone safety. 3 wide receivers up top, 1 to the right. Olivo, bad snap, takes it himself, darting through the middle, has a 1st down, has more, and brought down at the 28. Olivo just continues to dart through. He is hobbling after that one, and he's just trying to jog this one off.
And he goes from nearly missing a snap to making tacklers of Eastern Hancock miss. He broke at least 2 tackles on that play. Gets a huge gain, a huge 1st down. Knightstown's in business with the ball inside the 30.
Olivo still trying to shake that one off on the right leg. You get the replay here. We'll see maybe where it got shaken up.
Jacob Johnson of Eastern Hancock took him down, maybe just twisted his leg up.
So the right leg a factor right now for Olivo. Flag on the play right as the snap was getting going.
And that hobbling of Olivo may have led to this delay of game now, pushing him back 5 yards.
They look to me like they are.
Well, 5 yards. 14-0, Knightstown. 9:51 to play in the fourth quarter. Refs chatting about this one. 3 referees together right on the 35-yard line.
Could be discussing a clock issue, maybe the play clock or the game clock.
It's supposed to be 1st and 15 for Knightstown. Both teams wait, catching their breaths a little bit.
We have a correction on the last penalty. The 25-second clock after further review was not set back to 40 seconds. Rather, it was set to 25 seconds. We're going to put the 5 yards back on the offense and replay the down.
If you didn't catch that on Ninestar, they're completely depleting the last penalty. The 40-second clock was not fully reset.
Set for 25, not 40. But now on 40 seconds in between plays.
14-0. The ball is back in a normal 1st and 10. Shotgun, run up the middle. Walsh cutting to his right, near the sideline, near side. Brought down, and you got to think that's a horse collar.
Yeah, it is. Just a straight gift from Olivo to Walsh. Gets to the sideline, horse collar tackle, no doubt.
Personal foul. Horse tackle collar on the defense.
Half a distance to the goal. That hurts for the Royals, who again are still only down 2 possessions. Pretty obvious horse collar. First horse collar penalty of the game. I think we've seen just about everything, maybe except the pass interference. We've seen quite a few penalties.
We have seen quite a few, and most of them have been on the Eastern Hancock side. They're just shooting themselves a foot in a lot, offensively and defensively. We see it right here. Another horse collar tackle. Now Knightstown's even closer to the end zone, possibly putting this game at a 3-score game.
Remember earlier on, the Royals fumbled in the red zone right at the 1-yard line. Olivo up the middle. This is what he did earlier, and he does it again. Olivo, 3rd total touchdown of the night. 2nd rushing touchdown at Jose Olivo. His 6th rushing touchdown this year. He averages about 7 yards per rush, and he scooted through the middle that time to get in the end zone.
Just like how we saw it in the first quarter, Knightstown sends everybody out wide, all the receivers and running backs. That opened up the box to where the linebackers would be for Eastern Hancock, and Olivo had plenty of room to maneuver and get through the line into the end zone.
Devin Scheitzel is on for the extra point. 20-0 at the moment. Panthers lead. Make that 21. 3-possession game. And you take out a couple offensive miscues. Totally different game.
It's been a game that Knightstown has just rode this momentum most of the way, and Eastern Hancock's been shooting themselves in the foot with these penalties. We mentioned the turnover early on. They get inside the 1-yard line and can't punch it through. It's a brand-new ball game if they do that, and we've seen Jose Olivo just take over. We saw him hobbling earlier on this possession, but now he puts it in through the end zone. Looks like the rough leg that he's got is just gone now.
That's 14 total touchdowns this year for Olivo in 5 games. And, we've seen Olivo do it in the air. We've seen him do it on the ground this year. His best game by far, September 1st at Union County. 19 for 26, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He's only thrown 3 picks this year. And you combat that with 8 touchdowns. This is a very special senior playing in his final rivalry game.
Absolutely, and he's made the most of it. Watching the film on Olivo, he's not a quarterback first. He's a runner. He's an athlete, and the stats would argue that, and his passing stats look really good. But he's gonna look to use his legs a lot more than his arm, and he's done both of that in this game with the passing touchdown, the 2 rushing touchdowns. Now he really wants this rivalry.
9:23 to play in the 4th. 21-0 Knightstown. They kick off. 2 back for the Royals. It is caught by the running back, Victor Olivo, who shoots his way through the middle and breaks away from a couple and is brought down just short of the 40.
A good return from Olivo. This is where it starts from Eastern Hancock if they want to call back in this game. Olivo sets them up with good field position at the 39. Now it's where you just got to keep getting those chunk yards, keep pounding the ball, and have good clock management also, because you're closing in on 9 minutes in the 4th quarter, and it's a 3-possession game.
Houston Swan back to work for the Royals. And staying on the field as always, Jose Olivo, the lone safety, is on the last drive for Eastern Hancock, not 1 pass. See if that continues in the double wing. To his right, Olivo. Swan takes care of it. Here comes the rush. Olivo shoots one off. It is incomplete. Intended for Olivo. What he did not see from his blind side is that shooting through trying to go get him was Landon Carmichael.
Landon Carmichael, the junior, another guy on the defense who is coming in with a lot of tackles, a good key piece of that defense, was chasing Houston at his heels. Houston luckily gets that pass off, and luckily it was incomplete, because if Olivo catches that, it's a loss.
Carmichael just missed his first sack of the season. 2nd and 10, ball at the 39 of the Royals. Swan sets up in the double wing under center, sends the right man in motion. It's Arnold. Arnold shoots to his left, gets a block. Now running towards the middle, brought down just short of the 50.
Great tackle there by 65 Ben Newby. That's a sophomore. Chases down Zach Arnold, and if he doesn't, it's another play where if Arnold gets away, he could be going deep for 6.
Now that sweep works maybe for the first or second time on a drive, but we have seen them try and do that 3 times, and that's that third where they're brought down quickly.
Yeah, that previous possession, we saw a lot of sweeps to Arnold and 1 or 2 to Cole Rainbow.
Out the middle, Frisian, nothing going. Tackle for a loss.
First guy there's number 70, that's Sam Thomas. Thomas is one of the leading tacklers for this defense. He's behind Liam Orcutt, who came in with 41 tackles. He's a sophomore. Sam Thomas is a sophomore. So a pretty sophomore junior-led defense that this Knightstown team has.
Eastern Hancock loses a yard. It's 4th and 3.
This is a must-have for Eastern Hancock.
This is the ball game. Looking the pass. Passes up and hit is Connor Schultz as the ball was flying over his head. No flag. Turnover.
Looks like Swan was looking at Schultz the whole way. Wasn't sure if Schultz was running a hitch or a curl route. Looked like maybe a curl, and Swan just overthrows him.
We've seen that a couple of times. And Swan, after the big-time game on August 31st for 235 yards, he has had trouble with the passing. And it's very interesting looking at his stat line, Jared, is that he has had 3 games under 40 yards in that just offensive performance of 235 yards.
Well, I think you can credit that to just him being a freshman, coming into this varsity team right away, taking the lead role, and, arm strength might not be there. That's going to come along. But and this run game for Eastern Hancock is the focus.
Run to the right by Nick Walsh, breaking away, dodges one and down at the 25. Walsh ran into Max Muncie, who was down and getting back up. It was a QB handoff, running back draw, a little late. And ran right into Muncie.
Yeah,
Muncie took the heat of that.
Was not expecting it. He was focused on his defender, keeping him blocked, and he just gets his legs taken out right underneath him.
7:39 to play in the 4th quarter. 21-0 is the score. Knightstown leads. And again, Olivo sets up by himself in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers up top, 1 to the right. He fakes a scoop. Runs himself down the near sideline, out of bounds for a couple.
Yeah, the pitch was not there. We've seen him try it twice. Third time, not the charm. Eastern Hancock was ready for it. Olivo did the best he could. Gets out of bounds, though. That's not something you want Knightstown to do necessarily. You want to see this clock keep going down. But 2nd down and 5, still in business to possibly score again.
Ball on the Royals 21. The red zone has been very kind to the Panthers so far tonight. 2 rushing touchdowns for Olivo, a passing touchdown to Max Muncie on a slant route thrown by Olivo. And he barely catches the snap. Throw is off and actually complete. Olivo got smacked by a couple Eastern Hancock defenders, and some good sportsmanship as one of the guys in on that tackle. That was Nick Walsh. Went in and ended up bringing him down. Walsh gave a pat on the back, Olivo a pat on the helmet. So even with the rivalry, that's some good sportsmanship.
And Avery Riddle's a guy that hasn't seen a lot of action so far this year. He's in on the defense for Eastern Hancock. He was in pressuring Olivo. Olivo miraculously gets the ball away and a reception in from Walsh. 3rd down and 6 now.
Ball on the 23, again in the shotgun. That is their bread and butter. Handoff to Walsh, nothing going, tackled after maybe about a yard up the middle.
A much-needed stop for Eastern Hancock. The game doesn't look to be in their favor right now. You're closing in on 6 minutes, and you got to get the ball 3 times to score now in that 6 minutes. Looks like Coach Montgomery is going to let this play clock go down most of the way before he gets a play in.
They'll let the clock tick. 6:10 left in the 4th quarter. Olivo gets the play. Max Muncie will trot in to join the huddle. Coming out is Colton Piper. So they will set up.
Play clock is now under 3, and they're forced to use a timeout.
They do call the timeout, 21-0. Knightstown, first charge timeout of the half, 21-0. And, we talked about in the pregame show and at the top of this broadcast is that they've been led with Jose Olivo. The guy knows how to play in these rivalry games, and it's a big reason why they're probably going to win their 4th ball game in a row.
And Jose was a big player last year. I remember he was just an athlete at the running back position, played some slot, just an overall just tremendous athlete, super fast, able to break tackles, and we've seen it this game. And now you put him in the quarterback position for this year, and he's fulfilled that position. He's thrown the ball well, his numbers look good, and the legs. It's just him making plays with his legs. He's able to extend plays, make people miss. And he's looking at a 21-0 lead with under 6 minutes and his first, hopefully, Red Bull to put into that trophy.
I know you said you played here last 2 years ago, and you had a pretty memorable story coming out of that game.
Yeah, 2 years ago, last time this rivalry was played here, Eastern Hancock was down. It was, I believe, 21-19, 21-20, and under 2 minutes left. We had a great play thrown into this end zone to our left here with the words Knightstown in it. And a buddy of mine, Luke Splater, went up to get it. Luke Splater's now at Franklin College playing some football there. And it was just a memorable game. Came away with the win.
4th and 6, ball up in the air, just short of the diving Nick Walsh. Turnover as Walsh laid out for it. Go ahead.
Looks like a busted coverage made from Eastern Hancock. Walsh came from the right side, just streaked down the field, it looks like. And Garrett Friesian was trying to chase him. Friesian at the linebacker position, don't know if he's supposed to be that guy that's covering Walsh there, but just an overthrown ball, and if that's a catch, it's game over, and Knightstown's celebrating big time.
Walsh vouching for his 3rd passing touchdown this year. He's had a solid game alongside Kyler Burchett. Power-packed Knightstown offense. So it's a turnover. Eastern Hancock takes over. 21-0 the score with 5:43 left to play in the 4th quarter. Handoff and hit hard down the right sideline is the freshman Cole Rainbow.
Cooper Strasma, nice tackle there. Hits Rainbow hard out of bounds.
And I'll tell you what, we said, the easiest way to get thrown in a rivalry game is to just get thrown right in the fire. That's what Rainbow has done tonight. He has gotten hit hard, but he has gotten up each time. Just a freshman. He's got plenty of these to come.
And I believe these freshmen of Eastern Hancock, they're the right guys to be put in these positions.
Double wing, back to pass Swan. Throw out and complete. Connor Schultz.
Pass complete to number 21, Connor Schultz. 2nd down for the Royals.
2nd and about 4. 5:29 to play. Schultz got out of bounds there, so the clock stops. 2nd and 2, to be exact.
And they're going to move Swan back into the shotgun. They're going to look to throw the ball now.
You're going to have to. Snap is off. Throw is off. Throw is complete. Again getting out of bounds is Eastern Hancock. Is that Landon O'Neill? Yes, it was. O'Neill started at quarterback tonight. He played the first drive. Swan did not see the field in the first drive. It was a quick just 3 and out. But O'Neill did start at QB.
And O'Neill's getting his first action. I believe that might be his first catch on the year. Could be his second, actually.
Swan again. Fakes a pass. Now running himself, get out of bounds, and he loses maybe about 3 yards. So tough decision by Swan. There's just nothing there, and it was just forced to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
No hurt getting out of bounds, obviously stopping the clock, but you do lose 3 yards in the play. Could have thrown it out of bounds to maybe just an incomplete pass, some guy in the area to keep the ball 2nd and 10.
2nd and 13, ball on the Royals 46. To his left, pass off, intercepted again. His 2nd interception, James Lukens. Lukens has picked off Swan twice in this ball game. Both have been on similar throws. That was almost an exact situation as the last one, and James Lukens.
A beautiful read from Lukens, able to step in front of this pass from Swan. And I think Swan just threw it a little too late. He was going after, I believe it was Connor Schultz. And if he throws that ball a 2.5 seconds earlier, that's looking at a completion for Schultz and hopefully getting out of bounds, getting that first down. But Lukens, a beautiful read, a beautiful break on the ball, gets the interception, and almost seals this victory now for Knightstown.
21-0, 1st and 10, ball in the Royals 23. James Lukens did not have an interception in 4 games prior. Here's a little wheel throw, left side. It's complete.
And Eastern Hancock may have come up with that ball. Yes, they
did. Did they? Yes, they did.
Ball's on the floor. Eastern Hancock
they're
comes
saying
up
they
with
did.
it. Not sure who was in on that. We'll check the replay.
Eastern Hancock takes over.
Olivo just read the play. Lukens was still open by the time he threw it to him.
The ball did come out. Did they recover it inbounds is the question. The replay on Ninestar. Going to get it was Chase Settergren. Settergren moved just to his right now. He'll dive in for it. And they're going to give the Royals the ball. 5 minutes to play. Swan pass complete to O'Neal. He gets out of bounds. Might have the first down. But just want to finish the thought is that the defensive back, James Lukens, did not have an interception in 4 games. He has 2 in this one, both on identical plays.
And in the first one from Swan, he just threw it into too much coverage. We saw that when it was in the first half. Lukens came up with that pick. Just 3 guys around 2 Eastern guys. And the last one we saw, Lukens just made a beautiful break on it. 1st and 10, pass complete again to O'Neal. He's brought down short of the first down marker. Maybe he got about 6 yards on the catch. Brought down hard. Jose Olivo, nice, good form tackle. Clock will continue to move, and Eastern Hancock is going to go through the hurry up. Still a 3-possession game in the shotgun. Swan gets the handoff out to Olivo up the middle. First down and more to about the 50. I think Knightstown wasn't probably expecting pass from Eastern Hancock, and that allowed a nice read for the Royals. Victor Olivo gets a carry, gets it to the 50-yard line. Now a first down. Clock starts to move now. 2 wide receivers near side, 1 up top. The snap. Swan, throw off. Again, O'Neal, just a simple curl. Gets out of bounds. And I think what Coach Gallion, the offensive coordinator, and Houston Swan are seeing is that the Panthers' corners are playing off, and so that allows Landon O'Neal and these wideouts to just run the simple 5 to 6 yard hitches and get these completions, get out of bounds. 2 wide receivers, both sides. Throw off, up the middle, caught. O'Neal again brought down inbounds, and do they have the ball is the question. They're going to mark him down. I think his knee was down. Knightstown was saying it was going their direction, trying to sell it. Replay on Ninestar Films. Pass was complete again to O'Neal. Hit hard. 1st and 10. Swan out to Rainbow. Complete. Get yards. Try to get out of bounds. He does. Eastern Hancock continues to march up the field. And Eastern Hancock is really cooking with this drive now. Great reads from Swan, great routes from the wide receivers. You would have loved to seen this earlier in the game, and you would have loved to have seen that forced turnover they had with the fumble earlier. Remember, it could be a completely different game, but they fumbled on their own one. Up the middle, Olivo. They'll take time off the clock. 3:50 and ticking. Like you said, we're looking at a completely different game if Olivo and Swan have that good connection and Olivo gets in. Now we're looking at 21-7, and if Eastern Hancock scores here, they have plenty of time to force a 3 and out and get the ball back. 2 wide receivers up top and at the bottom. Throw off, complete. Zach Arnold. He's been a do-it-all man. Swan made a good job staying in the pocket, wait until the routes got into full circle, and Arnold with a good window route found the open spot and a good completion between Swan and Arnold. Swan getting the play from the right sideline. Snap is off to his right, looking for an open receiver, and he will just throw it away. Good decision by Swan instead of throwing in the coverage. It's like Schultz, they had Schultz in the slot. He ran the wheel route, and I think Knightstown played it well. You had number 11, Cooper Strasma, over there covering Schultz, and Swan just a good decision just to keep it away. Good coverage from Knightstown in the secondary. Clock is stopped. 3:15 to play in the 4th quarter. Ball on the Panthers, 17, 21-0. Knightstown. They have won 3 ball games in a row, looking for their 4th straight win. Eastern Hancock, 2-2. They have lost 2 games in a row. Snap is off. Jet route. Rainbow. Tackle. Getting pelted with footballs from the cheerleaders. That one almost came into our booth. But that last play, a good tackle. Sam Thomas was in on the tackle. Chase down Rainbow. Now it's 4th and 5. Shotgun. 2 receivers up top and at bottom.
Wheel route. Complete. O'Neal out of bounds.
Another just simple hitch from O'Neal. Gets to the sticks, and that's important. If he gets to the sticks, then he catches it, gets out of bounds. Now it's a first down. If you break before the first down marker, then it's game over.
A field goal won't do you any good. You got to get in the end zone. Swan with the snap, looking deep, left corner, Rainbolt, touchdown! Cole Rainbolt, he brings in his first receiving touchdown this year. Just, again, a simple wheel route, left side, great throw from Swan. Not looking like a freshman throw at all.
No, absolutely not. Doesn't look like a freshman with this throw. A good wheel route, like you said. Rainbow did it perfectly, and Swan did a nice job of letting it develop and not throwing it too early. He threw it at the perfect time. Rainbow went out and got it, made the play, and now you got 6 on the board for Eastern Hancock.
Worth noting, the Royals are only 1 out of 3 on PATs this year. They're going for 2. Snap is off. Shotgun. Throw the end zone. There's 2 more. 21-8. It's going to take 2 more touchdowns, but marching downfield, how about the freshman, Swan, with the touchdown throw?
He didn't look like a freshman, Brendan. He made great reads, great throws. We saw a lot of those curls and hitches with O'Neal, getting to the sideline, getting out of bounds, getting first downs, and he let that wheel route develop with a Rainbow for the touchdown, a beautifully thrown ball, and that 2-point conversion was a nice read. Landon O'Neal coming across from the outside, found the zone that was left empty. Beautiful throw from Houston Swan, but is it too little too late? 21-8, just under 3 minutes left. Could we see an onside kick from Eastern Hancock? Well, we'll just have to see.
Well, again, a team that has only converted 1 PAT. They have not attempted a field goal. You don't know what their kicking game is like if they even had time to practice onside kicks. But just want to touch, this is looking like the Houston Swan you saw on August 31st, 235 passing yards for 3 touchdowns. That's a really solid throw. At a big moment in this ball game with time ticking down. 2:42 to play. It is 21-8 after the 2-point conversion. Landon O'Neal brought in the 2-point conversion. The ball is handed to Eastern Hancock. What they will do with it is the question. Back to receive for the Panthers, Walsh.
And might be number 11. That is Cooper Strasma back there.
So Olivo, for the first time, will not try to return the kick. Blaze Sarber.
Knightstown has their hands team is what they're doing. They're waiting for an onside kick, and here it comes.
The onside kick into the hands of Knightstown. And again, Blaze Sarber is not a natural kicker. Landon Stanley is the only kicker listed on this roster. He was taking pregame snaps, but Sarber has been the lone kicker to go out for the Royals tonight. And Sarber listed as a wide receiver and defensive back, a senior, 6'1", 180, the onside kick right into the hands of the Panthers.
And Sarber has seen some kicking and we've seen punting duties in this game and for this whole season, but this is his first stint with this team, punting and kicking. And also want to mention Victor Olivo he's a pretty decent kicker I know of, but not using him, they're going with Sarber.
Olivo back, takes it himself on the read option, jukes a couple, jukes more, to the 30, still not brought down, now out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Olivo just does not go away.
And Olivo faked me out. I thought he had given the ball to Walsh as we watch this replay, but he keeps it, sneaks up the middle, breaks a few tackles there, and outruns Cole Rainbow, who eventually brings him down close to the 30-yard line, actually the 25.
Chan is MVP from the Knightstown faithful. 2:32 to play, 21-8 the score in the fourth quarter.
And rightfully so. Jose Olivo has dominated this game with his legs and his arm.
And possibly on their way to their 4th straight win. They lost week 1 to Hagerstown 21-13. They have not looked back since under the leadership of their senior quarterback. Walsh up the middle, gets a carry. Tackled after about 5 yards or so.
Victor Olivo in on the tackle for the Royals. Also, number 3, Avery Wills.
Brings up 2nd and 6 for the Panthers.
He gets 4 yards to be exact. It's 2nd and 6, ball at the 21.
Now reached the non-existent 2-minute warning here in high school football.
ticking down in this one, in this rivalry game. Looking like that the Panthers are about to put a red bolt and a Plowshare and Anvil trophy, a flag before the snap. Full start on the Panthers will be brought back 5 yards, 2nd and 11.
Now, Olivo has definitely been the MVP of this game, but you got to give some credit to his O-line. They've created the holes for him to get this big plays that he's had. Also, Nick Walsh with a big game for Knightstown, running the ball, and it's just a good overall effort from Knightstown, finally producing a good game, one they haven't seen in these last couple of years.
1:46 left. Gets the snap in the shotgun, a handoff to Walsh towards the right side, and he is tackled. Dylan Gross. Maybe a horse collar?
I think that's what the signal was from the referee. We'll have to check the replay because that one may have been close.
It was a horse collar ruled by the referees. Now, on my vantage point, I thought it was. It was similar to the first horse collar that was called earlier in the quarter. Half a distance to the goal, and the Panthers will look to run out the final 142. First down. Olivo back out. Jose Olivo is the only Panther to take snaps under center this year. There's not been a backup through all 5 games that has taken a snap. We saw Eastern Hancock have their first backup take a snap. It was Landon O'Neill. Olivo takes it himself towards the middle and tackled immediately after some pushing and shoving.
And that'll just be the story now for the rest of this game. A minute now. Panthers will look to just run out the clock, and they'll finally, after 5 years, be able to say they can put a red bolt into that Plowshare and Anvil trophy.
Now, what's it feel like to see your color put in there for the most recent year?
It's a refreshing feeling because you look forward to this game. Everybody has it marked on their calendars. It's Eastern Hancock Knightstown. People from outside of the community will come to watch this game. It's a huge game, huge rivalry. These players and these fans know what it means, and it's going to be a great feeling for Knightstown when they get through this handshake line and they can retake that trophy.
Quick handoff to Burchett. Clock continues to tick down with 23 seconds. 21-8 will be the final score tonight. And as Jarrett mentioned, for the first time in 5 years, after a 28-14 loss last year, the Knightstown Panthers will add a red bolt to the Plowshare and Anvil trophy. It started in 2006. This is the 55th overall time these two programs have met. And you just look at the emotion on the near sideline is how much this win means to the Panthers.
Well, it's a lot of years. It's a lot of hard work. For this Knightstown Panther team, they graduated a lot of seniors, a lot of guys that I knew from last year. This is their game. This is almost their Super Bowl. I mean, for both teams, it's almost their Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, you're looking forward to the sectional, but this is just a huge game. It means so much. There's so many bragging rights. And now that they're going through this handshake line, they're finally going to feel like what it means to hoist that trophy, because nobody on this Knightstown team in their classes has had that feeling yet.
Just to wrap it up, Jose Olivo, 2 rushing touchdowns tonight, 1 passing touchdown to Max Muncy. The lone Eastern Hancock touchdown thrown by Houston Swan out to Cole Rainbow. They did convert on the 2-point conversion. 21-8 the final score, and celebration time now for Knightstown. So we'll wrap it up for one final time from Knightstown High School. For my broadcast partner, Jarrett Lewis, Brendan King, hoping you enjoyed the broadcast. 21-8 the final score as the students charge on the field at Knightstown. So long. Thanks for listening to Ninestar Films.